really like that. That's lovely. Okay. Now I'm going to use my ivory colour shaper to start with to see whether this is the one. I'm sure it will be the one to use. I'm using the corner, and as I explained to you before, the reason I don't use the other one is because the corner gives me a stronger colour. And then I'll stop halfway along here, and when we can see then the difference between this, and this. Still not quite the same as that because we haven't put any light back on and we haven't put these darker bits in, but we'll do that in a minute. But you see the action of that colour shaper is exactly the same as the action we took with the pencils. Okay, just to fill it a little bit more, fill it in a little bit more so that we get a better. Now look at the difference between the three. This has just had the 180 and the 187 on with the undercoat of 230. That's with the addition of the 283, and that's what it's like when it's blended. And and this is what it's going to be like when we finish. So you've got really good comparison there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is continue it. There's no point in seeing me do exactly the same thing over and over and over and over again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get to this stage down here. Then I'm going to show you the next procedure, which would be using the darker colour. Now it's the turn of the 177. Now with 177, you can use it in two ways. When we've got this expanse of fur, and once again I will do it in a little bit, halfway perhaps would be a good idea. In fact, let's do that. Do it halfway, and then you can see the difference between the two. Yes, you can use it in two ways. You can use it as I'm using it at the moment, very light. So we're just really creating just a little bit more depth, because there's a limit to what we can do with the 283. A little bit there. Now you see now, I've gone over that again and I've just darkened it just a little bit further. You can see the difference between the two. Now the other way you can use the 177 is with a little bit more strength, which we've used up here. And down here we've got a lot more dark fur. Now watch as, and try to predict where I'm going to be going with it. I mean, I don't really know. What I'm being guided by is what I think where I do need some stronger colours. Now there really isn't any way back from here, so if you do this and make it too dark, I'm afraid there's not a lot you can do about it. You can use a putty rubber and you can rub it out, but that's counterproductive, to be honest. Now you see the difference now it's made. That's terrific, isn't it? Now let me just stop there for a minute, and I'm going to place my paper there because I want to show you the effect that this next action has. Now what we're going to do now is I'm going to use the 270, okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go over the opposite. Where I was picking out the dark, now I'm picking out the light. You see, you can see it. You can see as I'm going along, I'm just picking up those lighter colours, which I didn't begin with the 177. I'm going to have to concentrate on this, folks, so I'll shut up a minute. Okay, now, it's a clean off time, folks. Can't have black on the end of there. There's probably not enough of it to worry about, but I'd rather not have it now. This is my pointed one. Do you remember what we do with that? This gives us the smoothing off effect. So what I'm doing is actually going in and just smoothing off the texture of the paper, any of the paper, I can see it. And although each stroke doesn't make an appreciable difference, as a whole it certainly does. Now, light and dark, we're not picking up enough of that to worry about really, but what I'm concerned with is I'm getting a lovely fusion of colour. That's really looking good there. Okay, now we can also, here you'll see that I've got some light white, so we can just put some white, just not very much of it, just in where you want it to, then just take over from there. You can see then the link. I don't want too much white, I just want enough of it to create just a little bit of lightness to it. It looks better when you do a whole area, not just a small area I'm doing here, but I'm trying to teach you. It's best for me to concentrate on. There we are. Now that's quite small. Now let's have a look at the difference between the two. Wow. I think you'll agree that that's chalk and cheese. Anyway, and I'm going to do exactly the same down here as I've just done up there. And there's no reason why you can't go in again, looking at it again, thinking, well, no, I want that just a little darker. You know what we did here? You know where the dark is, so it's very easy now to pick that up. Just a little extra little bits. When we get down to here, it's very, very dark indeed. But I don't want it to be dark until until I get there. So what I'm going to do here is that's the end of the light. And what I'll be doing in a minute is darkening this area here. So what we do there is use a darker base.